It's your 716 Uncle P from the world famous podcast, Men of a Certain Age. Please like, share, and subscribe.
Peace and welcome into the latest episode of The Soup, Men of a Certain Age. As always, I'm Les. I got my man Panera with me and my man UHDL. Peace, fellas. What's going on? I see P. I see you got the blue and orange skies popping off one time with them Knicks did what they did yesterday, man. Talk about it.
Josh with the big heart. You know what I'm saying? Keeping us in it. Yo, shout out to my man Deuce for the tray. Deuce for the tray, baby. You know what I'm saying? That's what I'm talking about, man. And before we go to my man Don with the fresh woo on, shout out to my man Quincy Morris, too, man. You know what I'm saying? If you're in the 716 and you're hungry, you go to At 11 Wings and Cuisines. They got everything for you. Even the vegan people, they got the vegan hoagie up. Believe me, it's incredible. You know what I'm saying?
Shout out to Q Master. You know what I mean?
Yes.
No doubt. Q.
What's good with you, fam? How was your week, man?
Man, my week was actually pretty cool, man. It's strange. Yesterday was 420, and everybody knows that's literally my holiday that I celebrate. But you know what? I kept it real cool. Like, I really didn't even get into any festivities, man. I really just chilled out, man. I'm looking to do some different things, so I figure I have to do some different things with my life. So yeah, I just chilled out, man, and kept it in and just focused on what needs to be done, man. But I'm chill. Like I said, I'm happy to be here with y'all boys, man. I look forward to it, and I'm ready to get into it.
No doubt, man. It's good to see both of y'all brothers as always, man. And again, happy 420 to all my smokers out there, man. Salute. So again, welcome into this exciting episode of The Soup, man. This week we got an excellent pot brewing today. We got Stephen A. Smith cooking up, boiling up in the soup here today, man. We also have to have Agent Orange, Donald Trump, makes his appearance in the soup here today. We also have an extra additive, I should say, to the soup. Uncle Russell Simmons makes an extra additive to the soup this week. You know what I mean? Also, man, we've got, are y'all familiar with this? He's in this age that we're in right now. We're on YouTube and people get real super famous on the YouTube vibe, which we're trying to do on our end as well. Please share, subscribe, and comment down low. Again, we're trying to get to 250 subscribers by Memorial Day. Please subscribe and also smash that like button, man. We need y'all to help us out just a little bit more. You know what I'm saying? And as I was speaking of the internet and the internet craze, is this guy, his name is Kai Cenat, if I'm not pronouncing it right. And he's
Cenat.
Kai Cenat. Yeah. So this guy popped off and he's real large in the internet realm, I should say. And he's had some BS to say this past, and I want to analyze that a little bit with y'all. I was spinning the tube channel surfing this week, and as I was channel surfing, man, something came across that I want to share with y'all, and then we're gonna go ahead and jump off into this episode. Oh yeah, man, I was channel surfing, and I came across the classic School Days. Shout out to Spike Lee, man, and this movement that he had back in the 1980s. Is I want to share this little screenshot of this episode because this is going to jump us off into the topic we want to talk about on this episode of The Soup, man. So let's go ahead and do this.
Whoa. Let me tell you something. I am a Greek, and I don't play that. Now, I'll deal with Half Pint, after which you and me are going to come to blows.
So what, you want to rock and roll right now?
And I'm here.
Julian, forget him. He's not worth it.
What's with the bodyguard, man?
You talk more shit than a little bit. Back to Mother Africa. That's bullshit. Without question, we are all Black Americans. You do not know a goddamn thing about Africa. I am from Detroit, Motown. So you can watch Tootsie your monkey ass back if you want to.
Oh yeah, like I said, man, I was channel surfing and I landed on School Days and I was watching and this particular scene came up. That whole movie was about stereotypes within the Black culture. And as of late on my timeline, yo, there has been extra additives, man, with people saying Creoles aren't black and you don't want to consider them as black folks. The Haitians, Jamaicans talking about they don't fuck around with one another, and then they want to talk about our culture as Black Americans or African Americans, however you want to actually classify yourself, descendants of slaves. However, you know what I'm saying? It's just at this particular time, man, what's going on in the world? We're taking our eye off of the ball. Let's look over here while I'm digging in your pocket right now. And I'm like, yo, why are we on this tip right about now? And we're gonna jump off some more into that topic. But P, going back to school days, man, when you saw that scene right there between G, I can't think of his last name, but G and Carlo and Lawrence Fishburne right there, y'all. Thanks for having my back as always. You know what I'm saying? And Tisha Campbell looking really young and fine. You know what I'm saying? Look at 80ish. You know what I'm saying? But when you saw that scene, Lord, what sped the heartbeat, yo?
Yo, we were young when that movie came out, and we were transitioning from high school to college, so we didn't know what we wanted to do. It taught me that Black people aren't a monolith, also that there's differences in all of us. But the thing about it is, why does it have to come to blows or negativity? You know what I'm saying? Why can't we just come together? There was also a scene in that movie about good and bad hair. Who cares what your texture of your hair is? You know what I'm saying? We're supposed to be together. So I didn't realize, because as growing up, I was still dealing with the battle between me and white people going back and forth to school. So to see a battle within us, it confused me, but I knew that I didn't know what side to take. It was difficult. You know what I'm saying? So the whole movie was about regarding divesting into South Africa. That was his Julian's whole issue. Like, he wanted the school like, yo, what are you doing with this money? You should be sending money to our people. And on the other side, he was like, you don't even know nothing about what's going on over there. So why are you so as a kid watching this movie, shout out to Spike Lee too, man, because the things that he put out were thought-provoking, you know what I'm saying? And it was still us at the same time. He didn't have to add anyone else to it. It confused me. As in going to college, I figured out that you have to treat everyone as an individual until you get a chance to talk to them to realize where they are in their head politically, you know what I'm saying, and socially. So that's what I got out of it, man.
Let me just say this, Don, because I know you got a lot to say on this, and this was no way on my end to take a shot at the Greeks by playing that particular scene. But seeing that, and also seeing that you are a Greek, speed the heartbeat.
I'll do it like this. It's interesting because before I got involved in Phi Beta Sigma Fraternity Incorporated, Blue Phi, I love y'all. Before I got involved in that, obviously I was from Buffalo, and I'm pledged in Buffalo. And between the time before I decided to start pledging, I'm gonna back this up just a tad bit. I came down to Morehouse to see my best friend Jason Curry, right? So I came down. I happened to land in the middle of Greek Freak. It just so happened it was 1991. I just came back from the war. Happened to land in the middle of Greek Freak, and I came down here, kicked it with him, and
Thank you for your service.
Oh, no problem. Yeah, appreciate that. But he was part of kind of a group, an African book reading club. You know what I'm saying? What Fishburne represented in the movie. Right. He was with that type of crew. And I remember him coming down, and honestly goodness, Raphael Warnock, senator in the state of Georgia, was actually his best friend. Right. Wow. So I met all those dudes at the same time. And it's funny because I remember Raphael Warnock saying to me, man, yeah, it's a Greek freak going down here, but I don't know how many of our people are really should be accepting the title of being a freak. And, you know, that was in the middle. That was like in the beginning heyday of Freak Dick. And you know me, I'm a different type of dude. So I'm like, Freak Nick, you know what I'm saying? I'm all the way with it. You know what I'm saying? I enjoyed myself. I really did. I really truly had a good time. So when I came back to Buffalo and I pledged that type of stuff, it was different for me because I was from Buffalo. So I had the people who I knew were from Buffalo, my friends like y'all, you know what I'm saying? Like y'all came to our parties, we all hung out, you know what I'm saying? We had fun together. But then again, there was also a separate group of people from Buffalo who were like, fuck Don, you think you better than us and and so on and so forth. You ain't blah, blah, blah. And then we had you know what I'm saying, the African Book Reading Club going at us, you know what I'm saying, too. They was going at us too, like, oh, y'all Greeks and so on and so forth. Y'all know your history, knowing this, that, and the other. Now, I can't speak for 100% of my frat, but I can speak for 100% of my chapter. And I'm extremely proud of the way that we brought our pledges in. Our pledges came in with knowledge of self, whether it was me and the supreme mathematics that they all learned, and they had to learn under retribution through the pledge, from the pledging process through me, even though it wasn't a quote unquote Sigma principle, it was something they had to learn from me as an Umze. They also had to read Illuminati 66, Illuminati 666. So there's ways that people with open minds and different types of education can educate at every level. You know what I mean? So just because somebody has a particular color on or doesn't have a particular color on or has red, black, green on or red, black, and gold on doesn't mean you don't have anything to learn from them. And that's what I took from it. Like I said, wisdom can be found in all places, man. And like D said, you don't want to paint a broad brush over a bunch of different people because everybody's different. Yeah. It's all good.
Thank you for sharing with us, man. That is a classic movie. And if you haven't seen the movie, for those who are watching with us right now, what is you doing? You definitely got to get under School Days. If not only that, you need to get under Spike's entire catalog.
I sat my kids down and made them watch School Days. You watch this, you know what I'm saying, before you go about the rest of your life. You got to watch this.
Shouts out to Teacher Campbell for licking his part. That was so sexy,
No doubt. Shout out. Like I was saying, man, it sparked me again because this is what's been going on my timeline, the division between us. And then this guy, how do you say Kai Cenat?
Kai Cenat.
Yeah, he comes across my timeline and I'm like, who is this dude? And I see how many followers he has, you know what I'm saying, and how he's moving. And he gets up on the internet, as I call him with the S, and says this, man, let's check this cat out.
Not cultured at all. Stop dick riding. I don't want to hear, like, when I'm asking general questions, I'm not asking y'all niggas. Stop dick riding. That niggas is black. You're black. You're just black.
Just be yourself and hit them with hey. Also, I just found the Anarchy hoodie yesterday. Can't wait. Finna resubscribe in a little W female viewer. Big 2 months December 9th.
Thank you so much. Bro, you're just fully American. You're African American, bro. That's it. How was that see you in 30? And that wasn't an insult. That was strictly you're black. You're not Trinidadian. You're not Jamaican. You're not African. You're not word. You're not Ghanaian. You're not Dominican. You're not Puerto Rican. You're not Cuban.
Now, before we go and give our thoughts on this guy's comments here, I want to share with y'all another piece that I picked up on the internet on my TL. And this is from African immigrant on what they see when they come to the States.
You trying to get me fired up today, huh? I see. You trying to get me going.
And to clear the air, okay? Nobody, if I didn't know nothing called African American until I came to America. Before that, when we were in Egypt, okay? When we were in Egypt, when we did our papers and we was about to come to America, yes, they take you through sessions of understanding America and American life and the inhabitants of America. Okay, back home, we just know the Red Indians. We just know the Red Indians, okay? And then we know the white people of America. That's it, 2 races, okay? But when you're going through the sessions of coming to America, especially from Egypt, they tell you later on, they put you in a room and you have to watch a video. And then they introduce you the African American race, okay? Don't come blaming us Africans for how they portray you guys, okay? As soon as you learn about African American race, at the same time you learn about 911, okay? This is a white man. This is how they train people who come to America. That's when you're shocked about this unknown race that they talked about. But they don't tell people, oh, these are from slavery, all that stuff. Okay, they just say these people, they steal. They show people videos. Be mad at the white man. Any African can tell you when you're going through process of coming to America, they show you a video. They show you a video of a black man with white t-shirt blue jeans, walking around the neighborhood. And as soon as the black man keep walking, maybe the third time, then you call 911 and a white officer will come through. Okay. Because then they show you these people, they steal, drug dealers, they kill each other, blah, blah, blah. So this like a warning. Okay. They warn people about this race that you're about to come and encounter in America. Okay. But besides that, nobody knows about the African American race. Okay. Furthermore, when you start going to school here, then Kunta Kinte, history, and stuff like that, then you learn about the slavery. Okay. Before that, no such thing as African American existed. Okay. So African American is it's a group of people that has been kept very hidden in America, okay, by the white men, by the slave owners. They kept that very hidden, and they introduced you guys very vicious, okay, drug dealers, killing each other, gang banging, all this stuff. They're not supposed to be trusted. They walk around your house. The third time, call the police, and then the police come, and then the police will handcuff the black guy, and that's how they introduce you guys to us, okay. But some of us, we know the differences. And then later on, you start to learn what really happened. Okay. And that's what happened. What the hell? We don't know any of that stuff. We know the red Indians and we know white Europeans in America.
So here we have it. We first have the internet troll screaming that African Americans or Black Americans, we don't have any culture. And then she didn't say exactly what country she was from in Africa, but she made it seems like there is no knowledge of us at all in America. She said we know the Red Indians and then we know the Europeans. When you see that whole concoction mixed up, UA, and thrown into the soup, what comes to mind?
It goes back to something we talked about last week. When people know their history, then they're more inclined to have understanding. Also, it goes to the fact that I'm going to get to Kai last, but I'm going to deal with the second person first. When what she said, as far as they don't know, they don't have any idea just about us and the Indians, I think that's a crock, because obviously they have the internet. You know what I mean? So if you have the internet, you know how expansive and how represented we are on the internet, whether it be good, bad, or likewise, whether it be through our music, whether it be through our culture, whether it be through the news that we make. Black Americans definitely are something that is not a rare, I can't say a rarity, but something that's unknown. I find that hard to believe. Now, going over to Kai, I'm not surprised, and I actually Googled his ethnicity when we took the break, and he's Trinidadian and African. Now, again, I will say this. I believe in the true numbers, 85, 10, and 5. Those are the only three numbers that matter to me when we talk about group discussions. I believe he's part of the 85%. Actually, I think he's part of the 10. I think he's part of 10%, actually, because you know what he does? He knows what's up. He has influence, and what is he doing? He's using that technology to control the 85% who don't know, or who are too lazy to know, or who don't want to know. I've never taken the time to try to understand this. He's saying, listen, you don't even need to worry about that. They ain't got shit, right? But you see how he's dressed, you see how he talks,
all
you see
black
hair, it's
American.
all us. So when I see these guys get up and try to diss us and try to minimalize our importance, I just look at them and I'm just like, okay, so what would you be looking like without us? Who would you be without us? We established our identity for you to branch off from, period. Regardless if you choose to stay in the main lane or you choose to hop on another highway or going on the side street, we have established that lane. And if you don't respect us, that means you don't respect your parents, because we are men of a certain age, the fathers of hip hop. So if all this is, if you're cool and you're black, guess why? Guess why you're black and cool? Because of hip hop, because of us. So it really, it doesn't pain me, but it shows me how much older I am and much of an age difference and much of a mental difference I am from these younger people out here, because that is completely insane that he would say something like that.
If before I come to you, Lord, if we were not here, he would not be.
Exactly.
Second of all, they would be Prince Hakeem if they did.
Hey, it's Kunta Kinte!
They didn't know to America. But Lord, coming to you, why is it now that this is such a thing? This is really a thing now, man.
I don't know. I got a kind of different twist on it, but I pretty much agree with everything Don said. But I think it's the internet. When you're looking for clicks and views and likes, and you know that there's only 13% of us in the country, you have to say things to get the others to come to your channel or your pod or whatever, so you can get your likes and your views and your follows or whatever. So I think what he did was he spewed out anti-blackness. With a lot of people that aren't us, they love it. You know what I mean? So they'll gravitate towards him when you speak about anti-black. But the thing about it is, when you get some white people who feel like he's not in the right and he ends up losing, you know what I'm saying? He's going to eventually come around and apologize. You know what I'm saying? It's like the Candace Owens syndrome. You know what I'm saying? Like you said, Don, you might give him a little too much credit for, I think he's uneducated and uninformed. I just think he's pretty much a buffoon, but he's smart enough to say the right things, to get a following, knowing that if he gets a following of the others, he'll make more money that way. It's follow the money, man. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Let me say some anti-black shit to get white people to follow me. You know what I mean?
That's what you always say, follow the money. And they go.
And I agree and understand your perspective 100%. But again, the other perspective is follow that bread. Follow that bread, man. Because it's the root. It's the root of everything, man. It's crazy.
I think it's intertwined, bro. I think it's intertwined to the point where his followers, and that's why I put him in the 10%. You know what I mean?
Right.
Because he's got followers.
I was thinking I'm giving them too much credit and putting them in the 10. I agree with that.
Yeah, because he's got followers, man. People who blindly follow him, dumb, deaf, and blind, follow whatever he says. And he's obviously not working for our best interest. No. Whether he's from another place or not, if you're not here, if you're in America and when you turn that corner, people see a black person and you're not working for the better interest of all black people while you're in America, regardless of where you're from, you're the opposition.
And like you said, I think he's Haitian and Trinidadian.
Yeah, I think he's Haitian. And let me look it up again because I just had it, man. I think he's. Let me see.
It is
Haitian.
Now look at it. If you watch a sample of his show, there's nothing Haitian or Trinidadian about it.
You're not even representing your culture while you up here talking this shit.
In the background, we got our music in the background. You know what I'm saying? Like, what are you talking about? You talking about we don't have culture? You're dipping and dabbing in our culture and not even expressing your own. And this is how you get your bread, by being anti-black and trying to get those people to come to your side. You already got mad followers, and like you said, why would you mislead them that way?
It's ridiculous, man. As I said, man, we're paying attention to the wrong shit.
Yeah.
Instead of coming together as a people, we fighting within the people. You know what I'm saying? And as we continue on, speaking of traitors and enemies of the state, Miss Gayle King interviewed sister coach Dawn Staley. And old Gayle got up there and got to dancing.
Look, I'm dancing.
Matter of fact, man, let me just go to the tape. Hold tight.
Roll the tape.
What did R. Kelly say to Gayle? You're killing me with this shit. You're killing me, Gayle. But it is.
Happy for you guys, I'm so happy. The game was such a good game. It was so close at times. And in the end, you guys pulled it out. But was there ever a point during the game when you were worried? Because I got worried. We were all cheering for Iowa, of course, and Caitlin Clark. But for some
what? Of course.
We were all cheering for Caitlin Clark. Who is we? Who is we?
Her and Oprah.
Now, there was an excellent response to this, and it was put out by the one and only Captain Jack. So let me go to Captain Jack and see what Captain Jack had to say to Gail one time.
So Gail King's supposed to be somebody that's big in the journalism space, and I don't consider her black media. Y'all give her all these passes because she's Oprah friend. I don't give a fuck who friend she is. I don't do nothing for nobody. But you cannot demean Dawn Staley like that. You talking to her about winning the championship, about going undefeated, and you have the nerve to get on there and say, we was rooting for Caitlin Clark and you broke everybody's hearts. Who is we?
She's got a frog in her pocket?
All the black people I know was rooting for Dawn Staley. We all fans of Caitlin Clark, but the way you put it, that shit was trash. Yeah, and I'm glad it's a new day in the media space. You know what I'm saying? Because you say you so intelligent, you don't even say stuff like that to somebody on the interview. You just demeaned her and made it about Caitlin Clark. That's trash. Super trash. So
once again, Gail King has shown her ass to the world and tried to throw us in her shit. Gail King, UH.
What's funny with Gail King, it's not even funny. It's just what it is. We talked about Kai Cenat earlier doing things for like
shit.
You know what I mean? She's doing the same shit because remember, I don't know what her credentials are besides being Oprah's friend and obviously gaining experience on Oprah's network. You know what I mean? But she trashed Kobe. When she trashed Kobe, I knew she was in a different zone. She disrespected R. Kelly. She made him look like a clown and a buffoon, regardless of what the circumstances are surrounding him now. She made him look really bad as a black man. You know what I mean? And everybody's, oh, why are you always destroying black men, Gail King? So you know what? She's an equal opportunity disrespecter. So now she has a chance to interview Dawn Staley. You know what? Let me disrespect her too, man. She's just, and that's why I'm glad that that Captain Jack said what he said, because it's a new age in the media. It's people who really are close to things who don't want to give you the mainline white opinion that you're supposed to hear. They're going to ask the real questions, let you know their real feelings about how they feel. I can't think of one black person besides the Gail King and the guy that on the Heat, you know what I'm saying, that said they were going for Caitlin Clark. Every other black person I know was like, Dawn Staley. So I don't know when she said who was the we, because she must mean that she's totally been traded to the other side.
P-double, Gail King said, we're all rooting for Caitlin Clark. Why she had to put us in her bullshit? She could have easily said I was, or the people that I was watching the game with. You know what I mean? She throw all of us in talking about, and that could be, nothing could be further than the truth that we was rooting for Caitlin Clark.
I don't think she knows who she is. That's why she was like we, because she thinks she them. That's what she was talking about.
All right.
But Jack is us. Jack is the same person as us. You know what I'm saying? So we're going to actually, everything that Jack said was true. You know what I'm saying? Because we pretty much the same people. You know what I'm saying? But the thing about Gail is when you're on television like that and you got that bug in your ear, you know what I'm saying? And they're telling you what to make sure you mention Caitlin. Make sure you mention Caitlin. You know what I'm saying? She's going to mention it. She probably didn't even need the bug in her ear to make sure she mentioned Caitlin. This had nothing to do with Caitlin Clark. They went undefeated. The South Carolina. And with a whole new starting five. Man, Dawn Staley did not get the press he deserved. Then when she finally gets some press, you're bringing up Caitlin. You know what I mean? Now, we love basketball. We can see the talent and the shooting ability of Caitlin Clark. We're not disrespecting her. We don't dislike her. But we love Dawn Staley. You know what I'm saying? And we're going to go with Dawn Staley. Just because we love us don't mean we dislike y'all. But you know what I'm saying? Some people don't have that mentality. And Gail is just one of them people. Don said equal opportunity anti-black is what she is. She better look in the mirror, man. What the fuck is her problem?
A habitual line stepper.
Exactly.
Habitual.
You line crosser.
Rest in peace, Charlie Murphy, man. Habitual over the line stepper. That's what she is.
Real shit.
You know what I'm saying? Listen, man.
It's embarrassing, man.
Let's keep it a buck. We know she had to mention Caitlin Clark.
Shit.
But you could have put that at the end of the interview. You know what I'm saying?
Horrible.
You here to get this lady, Dawn Staley, her flowers, her propers. And then in the first, you could even say, congratulations, coach. Y'all had a great season. None of that. You went right in the game and then went right to, we were all rooting for Caitlin Clark. Let's listen. We all know you got a job to do. You got sponsors to pay. But you would think that at this point in her career, she has some couth.
No finesse whatsoever she has.
Exactly, Lord. You took the words right out of my mouth. She has some way to finesse it in. To finesse it. You know what I mean?
She's not professional. She's
She
not
didn't
professional.
I'm with you on that one. She didn't even try to finesse. You know what I mean? And for that, man, Gayle King.
Fuck out of here.
You know what I'm saying? So as we continue on with this topic of those who are enemies of the state, we have once again a habitual line stepper, Mr. Freeman A. Smith. You know what I'm saying?
No.
So he is a major ingredient in this week's episode of The Soup. Stephen A., man, I don't know if y'all saw it or not, man. Earlier in the week, he was on Hannity. He's on Fox News a lot, and he likes to say, I'm on NBC, I'm on CNN, I'm everywhere that will have me. So he's on with Hannity at least twice a month, if not more. You know what I'm saying? He's a special guest with Hannity. That's his buddy. Hannity says that's his buddy. So he was on Hannity this week, man. And
Sean Hannity?
Yeah, that guy.
That's
on Fox.
Yeah. Him. He of Fox News, that guy, Sean Hannity. Now, as I said, this is not the first time. This is not a special guest appearance. This is his regular hit. You know what I'm saying? He is on Fox News. So he was on Fox News, man. And for whatever reason, he was on Fox News defending Don Trump, Agent Orange. So I got two clips. Now, Uncle Roland fried him. You know what I mean? He drudged him a couple times, fried him, took him out the grease, drudged it a little bit more, and then fried him again so you get that extra crispy fry on it.
He didn't even put him on a napkin afterwards.
No, man, no. He extra crispy. So let's listen to what Stephen A., Mr. Gary Gnu had to say to Sean Hannity.
Why is that happening? That's my question.
As much as people may have been abhorred by Donald Trump's statement weeks ago, talking about how black folks, he's hearing that black folks find him relatable because what he's going through is similar to what black Americans have gone through. He wasn't lying. He was when you see the law enforcement, the court system, and everything else being exercised against him, it is something that black folks throughout this nation can relate to with some of our historic, iconic figures. We've seen that happen throughout society. So no matter what race, what ethnicity you may emanate from, we relate to you when you're suffering like that, because we know we have. Now, what the hell would black folks have to do? What would they have in common with a guy that was born on third base thinking he hit a home run? It's the legal system. Because on many occasions, when you see some of the notable figures from African-American communities throughout this nation that did everything they could to create change, including the late, great Dr. Martin Luther King Jr., you saw how the law was manipulated or how law enforcement was manipulated to assist in bringing people down. That's the belief emanating from the black community.
So first off, he compared Trump being caught up in the court system to Martin Luther King. That's one. All right. So now what I want to do is this. I want to go and play Uncle Roland. And let's see what Roland had to say. We're not going to listen to the entire breakdown from Roland. We're going to let him get off a little bit, and then we're going to come back and do what we do.
I see people acting the fool, losing their mind, talking about some comments Stephen A. Smith made on the Sean Hannity show. And I see this 30 or 40-second clip that was posted. And anytime I hear some comments What I like to do is I always like to say, what actually precipitated the comment? What set the comment up? What was the question? What was it? And I want to walk through right now this whole segment because even when I saw it at home, there were some problems that I had with it from a factual standpoint. Roll it.
All right. Now, last night we showed you a clip from my next guest who has a message for the Democratic Party. Here's a reminder.
It's much ado about nothing. To my liberal friends out there, all you're doing is showing that you're scared you can't beat them on the issues and the merits.
So now there, he's saying that the charges and all of this stuff that Trump faces, that's nothing. They're bogus.
Here now with more ESPN host, the one, the only, he hates to admit he's a friend of mine. You can admit it, just say it. My friend Stephen A. Smith is here.
Of course we're friends, man.
Yes, sir, folks. We are friends.
Wow. No, Ganoush is good. Ganoush wins.
Sports. You said that. First, the question I have is, what was the reaction to that?
Oh, obviously, I took a lot of heat. A lot of people didn't like the fact that I said it. They wish that I had it. And when I give a damn, I'll let you know. I don't care. I'm going to speak my mind. I'm going to speak what I believe to be true. And when I think about Donald Trump, I think about this case in New York. I'm looking at the Democrats right now. And again, primarily, I have voted them.
Now, that's reckless as hell off the top for him to say, I'm going to speak what I believe to be true. Not
well, he knows he's on an entertainment channel too, so
not what
is true, what he believes.
What I believe is true.
Democrat throughout my life, but I'm utterly disgusted with what I'm seeing because it seems to me that they're trying to use the law and the courts. They've clearly politicized this thing with Donald Trump because they can't come up with a strategy to offset the momentum he's clearly gained in at least 5 polls. He's up in the polls over Biden in at least 5 polls that I counted. That's the reality of the situation. Despite the counts against them, the indictments against each twice and all of this other stuff. He is the presumptive GOP nominee, and you don't seem to have the issues in your favor you believe. So because of that, you're going to manipulate the system as best as you possibly can to avoid him possibly running for re-election again. That appears to be their strategy, but I'm here to tell you, it's not working.
Now, what the hell is he talking about? They're trying to manipulate the system? Did this man not pay off a porn star?
Bro, did he not have, you know what I'm saying, stolen documents in Mar-a-Lago in his bathroom? Come on, man.
His lawyer went to jail for trying to fucking cover the shit up.
Everybody surrounding him is in jail or indicted.
Here we go.
It's not working at all. And to be quite honest with you, I don't mind the fact that it's not working because I might not be a supporter of Donald Trump, but I want him to lose the right way. I want him to lose because you have better ideas.
You want him to lose the right way. And this man is going to court for trying to steal the election.
He in court right now farting and falling asleep. Shit.
You make your case to the American people better than he does. That's why I want him to lose. I don't want him to lose the way they're trying to make him lose because the case in New York City is pretty weak, if not flat out bogus. Have you remember John Edwards? Have you remember Gary Hart? Have you remember some of the things that Clinton has gone through? Now we're going to talk about a hush money case that took.
Clinton went to court for cheating on Hillary?
No, not at all.
What the hell is he talking about?
He's wilding out, man.
He was running for election in 2016.
Once again, y'all, he's going to speak on things that he believes.
Right. He know he can't be fact-checked on Fox.
But he was in office until 2020, and now here you are in 2024, months before another election, that he's the presumptive GOP nominee, and this is what you're trying to do? It's a disgrace. It's weak. It's pathetic, and somebody needs to say it. The Democrats need to come up with a better strategy.
We all can have our opinion on something. But what we cannot have are our own facts.
Exactly.
Oh. Now let's get to the root of it there, Roland.
On something. So what Stephen A. had to say in terms of by saying that this is bogus. Here's the problem. What Donald Trump is on trial for is literally the exact same thing his attorney pled guilty on. Henry, go to my iPad. This is a press release from August 21st, 2018, from the Department of Justice, from the U.S. Attorney's Office, the Southern District of New York. It says Michael Cohen pleads guilty in Manhattan federal court to 8 counts, including criminal tax evasion and campaign finance violations. So wait a minute. If the charges against Trump are bogus, were the charges against Michael Cohen bogus? The facts are the facts. If you break the law, you break the law. Here we have the attorney for Donald Trump who pled guilty to the charges. That wasn't a Democratic setup.
Right.
No Democrat made Donald Trump illegally pay off a porn star and use his attorney to hide the payoff because he did not want the voters to know about it. Let me remind Stephen A. and Sean Hannity, this happened before the election because Trump did not want the world to know that he paid off a porn star. This is called a fact. So, hard to call Trump's trial bogus when it's literally the exact same charges that his own lawyer faced that he pled guilty to. So, this is not a question of they're trying to get Trump. They got Cohen.
Right.
So yeah, Screaming A. Smith, Mr.
Remember? No! Good news is good. Good news with Gary. Good news.
Now, Gary gets up there with Sean Hannity and starts dancing. I'm dancing.
I'm dancing. I'm dancing.
Who was his lawyer, who was handling the whole thing, went to jail for that. He went to Otisburg, UH.
No doubt.
Otisburg, up in the Fed jank over there.
Pennsylvania, right?
Otisburg, I think. Otisburg might be
West Virginia.
I think it is in West Virginia. I think it is. They couldn't prosecute Trump at that particular time because you can't prosecute the president, right? So you have to wait until he is no longer president to press charges. It is what they did. What the hell is Stephen A on, man?
Stephen A is on nothing. Absolutely nothing. I'm a firm believer in stay in your lane, right? Stay in your lane and drive as fast as you possibly can, right? You know what I mean? He has switched to the 4th lane over because it's all right him being a podcaster, right? That's one lane, aside from his ESPN mainstay. So he switched lanes. He doing his little podcast thing. He switched another lane. He on General Hospital, if I'm not mistaken, too. But that 4th lane, that politics, that slow lane, no, he's not ready for that. You know what I'm saying? Matter of fact, let's flip him. The 4th lane is the fast lane, right? He's not ready for that. He's not an intellectual who is abreast of the facts enough to give an opinion. Like Uncle Roland, I don't like to call Uncle Roland, but Roland Martin said, yeah, because he alpha, I ain't with that shit. You know what I'm saying? I'm not with it. I'm not with it. I'm absolutely not. But no, Roland Martin.
Let's talk about separatism. Here we go.
I'm clearly showing you that all Divine Nine are a monolith. That's me clearly stating.
There we go.
You know what I'm saying? I'm going with it for y'all. No, but as Roland Martin said, man, he is completely unaware of the facts. If Cohen was doing all this stuff with Trump and he got convicted of it, why shouldn't Trump be punished for it, right? And if he's saying that all that we're trying to find another way. Listen, this dude went as far as saying, and I quote, listen, all we need is 11,870 votes. That's one more than we already have. If that's not playing as dirty as possible, I don't know what is. And I'm glad he's going to press 11.
Find them for me.
Yeah, I need you to find me 11,000. I know the number, 11,870, because it's in treason and treachery and being a traitor is burned into my brain, dog. So yeah, and you know what? Let's back up. Let's switch back over to that fourth lane of real quick again for Stephen A. Smith. If Stephen A. Smith had any sense, he will realize or knows what exactly is going on before he hopped into that fourth lane. Donald, like he said, they couldn't prosecute Donald Trump while he's president because during those 4 years he's immune, but they still have up to 7 years to prosecute any crime.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? And the reason why it's taking so long, why it's dragged to election year, is because his people delayed it. So what are you really talking about? You're talking about an issue that he created that he's responsible for. Man, Stephen A. Smith, you better hop back over to that first lane. Talk about Kawhi Leonard or somebody.
Yeah, he is Lord. There was a point in time where Stephen A. was like first cousin on your mama's side. He was like the first cousin you call and say, "Yo, we cooking up." You know what I'm saying? Come through. You know what I mean? Now that he got a taste of that bread, once he got a taste of that bread, he got to keep on eating. So I'm gonna jump over here because they got a check for me. I'm gonna dance over there. They want me to do my two-step over here.
Hey, look, I'm dancing.
So I'm gonna make sure I got my taps on so I can get over there and cook for them a little bit. Lord, what Stephen A. man, what is he on?
Double agent Stephen A. Smith, huh? He's who Hannity brings in to make white folk feel comfortable. You know what I'm saying? Look what I got. He's saying this, so it's true. You know what I mean? Now, if Trump has 88 criminal counts, man.
91
now. It ain't the Democrats stirring up some soup to get him. You know what I'm saying? It ain't the Democrats. He, like Don said, he's done this to himself. You know what I'm saying? It's what Stephen A. was trying to say. They got nothing, so they got to bring up these bogus charges. Ain't none of this shit bogus. If Cohen is locked down for it, how is it bogus? You know what I'm saying? Again, stay like Don said, Stephen A., keep talking about Kawhi. And I don't like shit you be saying about Kawhi. If the man hurt, the man hurt. He can't fucking play. You know what I'm saying? I get mad about that shit. You know what I'm saying? It's just, he's one of them dudes who want to put himself above us and talk down. Anti-black, brings you money. Going on Hannity, brings you money. It's double agent.
And remember, he's Jamaican. He's not. He's not.
It's good.
You know what I'm saying? Just a couple things I got to unpack on Screaming A, man. Or
remember, no canoes. Canoes with Gary. Canoes.
You know, Gary, as we call him, Gary, for him to say, because Trump is in the system, that we empathize, that we understand. Man, get the fuck out of here with that, man. This man is coming to the table with lawyers who's getting paid $200,000 an hour. Black folk are not coming to the table with $200,000 an hour lawyers who smoking 10-hour cigars.
Free, campaigning and all kind of shit. If we had 91 counts, we'd be underneath the jail awaiting trial. Get the fuck out of here.
And gonna have the audacity to try to talk shit to the judge? Yeah. How can we empathize with that, man? You know what I mean? Stephen A. is a buffoon when it comes down to talking politics or even talking about the culture, man. Because him to get here and try to equate Trump with any plight of ours is out of fucking line, man.
Remember, no canoes. It's good. Canoes with Gary. Canoes.
Yeah, man. As we continue on, Donald Trump, man, they like to talk about Donald Trump and he's so savvy and he's on point and he catches everything. He's not missing a beat. Like you said, P, he's in court falling asleep, damn near with his mouth open. This guy was in Gettysburg, Pennsylvania.
Oh my God.
Last week. You know what I'm saying? And he gave or tried to give a speech. Let me play a snippet of what he had to say, man.
Lee, who's no longer in favor. Did you ever notice that? No longer in favor. Never fight uphill, me boys. Never fight uphill. They were fighting uphill. He said, wow, that was a big mistake. He lost his great general, and they were fighting. Never fight uphill, me boys, but it was too late. Where our union was saved by the immortal heroes at Gettysburg. What an unbelievable battle that was, the Battle of Gettysburg. What an unbelievable, it was so much and so interesting and so vicious and horrible and so beautiful in so many different ways. It represents
contradicting yourself
of this country. Gettysburg, wow. I go to Gettysburg, Pennsylvania to look and to watch. And State Lee, who's no longer in favor. Did you ever notice that? No longer in favor. Never fight uphill, me boys. Never fight uphill. They were fighting uphill. He said, wow, that was a big mistake. He lost his great general, and they were fighting. Never fight uphill, me boys, but it was too late.
What the fuck is he talking about?
Now they try to tell us, continuously tell us, that Joe Biden is old, sleepy, and can't tell what time it is or what day it is or buckle his belt. But this cat can get up here in front of all of his goings, you know what I mean? All of his chattel, get up there and start talking and make no sense at all. He said I go to Gettysburg and I just
watch what? Right. What are you watching?
What the hell are you watching out there? And Stephen A. Smith is going to say that the Democrats don't have a platform. They don't have anything to run on. All they got to do is show this man sitting up there talking gibberish, nonsense. Don, when you hear him up there talking psychobabble, what?
Trump, the wildest thing ever is like Barack Obama had to be this, and I've seen this obviously somewhere, but they said that I remember seeing that Barack Obama had to be the smartest, most perfect, most balanced black man ever. But Trump can be the dumbest, least educated, least sophisticated white man and still get elected president.
Legacy.
Which is crazy to me because what pisses me off more than anything else, it's not necessarily the whole Trump effect, man. You know what it is? It's people who don't understand civics that is required in our public school system and is taught to everybody either in the 4th grade or the 8th grade. And it's reinforced again in sophomore and senior year. That's classic around the board. If you have any understanding about how this country works, there's in the history of this country, in the 50,000 people that were lost at Gettysburg, there's no way in the world that you will get up there and sound so fucking ignorant. I really try to avoid cursing, man. But Trump, the people that support this guy really frustrate me so much because now I see where all the dumb people were. Now I see where all the dumb people are. Like, you know what I'm saying? I see where the dumb people are and I see where the conniving people are. Because I have some friends who are extra rich who like, hey, listen, I want Trump back in because they want to exploit the system some more. But I have also know, you see, I don't say I have any friends, but I also know people who are extra dumb who support Trump because he's Trump, he's taking America back, and he's the real deal. Come on, man. What were you doing? That's what I really want to know. What were you doing in those times when they were teaching civics? If you don't understand, if you understood civics and you understood law, you understood history, there's no way in the world that Trump should even be a consideration. It's crazy. It really boggles my mind every day I realize this guy can actually be the president of the country in November.
Voting against their better interests. P, that man got up there and said, generally, he said, wow, don't go up the hill on me, boys. What the hell are you talking about? That just goes to show how ignorant those people are. Because you would have to, if you were really hearing what he was saying, you would have had to look to the person next to you.
What the fuck talking about?
What did he just say? They're chattel. They just stand up there to be there. Trump speech, Lord.
The scary thing about Trump, was he high on speed and fast food? I don't know. You know what I'm saying? The thing about Trump is what's scary is when he was in office, he pretty much fired everybody that was giving him good advice. You know what I'm saying? Who would want to work for him? If he becomes president, who is he going to hire? The people that are going to just be yes men and not give him good advice. What does that mean for this country, man? You're going to be a yes man to this guy that you just showed the video for, fam? Come on, man. If Barack had 3 divorces, if he paid off a porn star, if he had documents stolen in his bathroom, could he actually run for president and be considered? No.
Just grab him by the pussy.
He wouldn't even have been the nominee for president, let alone to be president. Now, Don, as you were saying, the people who have a lot of bread and who are making money and different things, they tend to want Trump to be back in office because of all the deregulating that he was doing and allowing them to pillage even more than before. There are some billionaires who do not rock with Trump. And one of them happens to be Mr. Mark Cuban. Let's listen to that.
Nice.
What's your intuition why Biden would make a better president than Trump?
At the basics. If you look at the people he's hired over the course of his career, or while he was vice president in particular, there's nobody who turned on him and came out and written books and made public statements about how it was bad for the country. Now compare that to Trump. The people closest to him, almost all of them turned. There's a financial relationship involved. To me, that says everything.
The dynamics of the team is important to you.
If you're going to be the most powerful person in the world, you better know how to manage and lead. That's not to say Biden hasn't made a lot of mistakes. Immigration, the border is a horrific mistake, and hopefully he recognizes that. And I don't like the fact that he doesn't admit his mistakes and just say, okay, I got to fix it, or I made a mistake in Afghanistan, whatever it may be. The position of commander-in-chief and president, you're going to make mistakes. Then I look at the other guy, never admits a mistake, and the list is long.
So boom, man, straight up and down like 6 o'clock with why one person is better for you and the other is not. Once again, I coined it last week. Trump is the master of saying, don't believe your lying eyes. Cuban ran it down right there.
Real easy. Nice and simple.
There are people who actually who understand, who are not consumed by capitalism. And I really commend Mark Cuban for his experience. And when I say his experience, the fact that he's basically self-made to a certain extent. He sold one company, bought the Mavericks when it was undervalued, bought the Mavericks and built them into a championship franchise, and now made a bunch of money. He's selling a nice portion of it. I respect that. I respect his business acumen. I respect his ability to see and grow his business and take care of his family and provide opportunities for others. But I also think that another important thing is the fact that because he's involved with so many different types of people, he's not just in his group of billionaires. He's not just around NBA owners. He's with his players. He's, even, and you can tell that Cuban is a straight up guy because guess who plays for him? Kai. Kyrie plays for him, and he's quite possibly the most conscious player in the NBA, one way or another. Whether you like his stances or not, he's definitely an individualist, and he's definitely down for black people. If he was anything other than a really stand-up guy, I don't think Kyrie would be there. But it's good to see that there are like-minded individuals out there of a different social class and of a different income class. But and we'll go back to those numbers, 85, 10, and 5. He's definitely in the 5%. He's not a typical person. He's not a typical billionaire like Les would say.
Right.
When you heard Cubes simply laid out there of why, basically him being a businessman, he's going to analyze it, right? He's going to look at the numbers, look at what's in the black and what's in the red, look and see what he can make money on and what he cannot, and make the best decision for his businesses. Now, as Don said earlier, obviously the wealthy, they want Trump in there as for what we said earlier is the deregulations that he's going to do, the tax cuts he's going to give, and the pillaging that he's going to allow. And for Mark Cuban to be that billionaire and say, man, I'm good. What I'm thinking about are those who are down here who need a helping hand, those who need someone that's going to be in a place of power, that's going to look out for their well-being instead of his own well-being. Mark Cuban, Lord.
Yeah, the thing about Mark Cuban, again, piggybacking off of Don, he deals with a lot of different kind of people. And you can tell by his demeanor, he's a listener. He's going to listen before he talks. So say you sit down and talk to Kyrie, an individualist, you know what I'm saying? You're going to take from that. You got NBA players from all over the world, you know what I'm saying? From Luka to Kyrie. You're going to sit and talk to these guys about certain things, and it's going to give you a different perspective. Not that he didn't have a different perspective from the beginning, but it'll add to it. You know what I'm saying? And he's just talking common sense. You know what I'm saying? If someone's dealing, if Biden is getting people surrounding him that are going to give him good advice and that are smarter than him, and Trump is surrounding him with people who he's making business deals with, who would you just want as a president? This country can't be run as a business. You know what I'm saying? So I like Cuban. I like the way he goes about saying things. It's easy to understand. And even though a lot of people go with Trump because it seems like it's easy to understand, but Cuban comes from a different billionaire perspective where he doesn't have a lot of bankruptcies and casinos he lost. And you know what I'm saying? It's not all negative. You know what I'm saying? You can see the positive in Mark Cuban. And I like the way he conveys it.
As we continue on the Soup, we are a conscious heavy program. We try to add something that you can build on and something that you can stand on as we continue. About the importance of your vote. And the reason why I'm going to this vote thing, of course, because of Trump, but also, man, my moms and pops are from Mississippi. That's where my roots come from, man. It's from the state of Mississippi.
The SIP.
Exactly, the dirty. You know,
The SIP.
we're talking about our culture, you know, every episode. And with this whole voting thing, the state of Mississippi passed a crazy law for the month of April, man. Let me share this with you, what the consequences of your votes have.
Bryant signed a proclamation in February declaring April Confederate Heritage Month.
It's important for the governor to do this because the governor's office has done this for 18 years that I know of.
Sons of the Confederate veterans say this month is an important part of history.
Honor these American soldiers for their service to the state of Mississippi and to this country.
I really think the governor did an injustice to his many listeners, to his 50% of his state, by signing that.
Radio host and brother of Medgar Evers, Charles Evers, says he doesn't think anyone should celebrate a month dedicated to a specific race or culture.
I feel like that all our leaders should be trying to bring us together. And anything that's divisive should not be brought up, whether it's black history or white history. Why should you have a black history or white history? Let's have a Mississippi.
But the governor's office says we need to study the state's history no matter how unpleasant or complicated. We've gotten a lot of calls to the WAPT newsroom on both sides of the controversial issue.
Our governor has really shown his true colors to actually dedicate a month to the Confederacy flag. I don't know what to say because we have such a race issue in the state of Mississippi.
I admire our governor for taking a stand and won't declare a Confederate History Month for April. I don't see nothing wrong with it. People ought to attend to their own business and quit meddling with this state and our flag. Leave it alone.
So yeah, man, your votes, there are consequences and repercussions to your vote, man. That story, P.
The Civil War was a battle over slavery, right? The Confederates lost. What is it, Losers Month? You're going to salute the losers? You know what I'm saying? If you're for the Confederate, what you're really saying is you're for slavery. You know what I mean? And people will try to put little bits and pieces. Oh, it wasn't really about that. And this is our heritage. Your heritage was for slavery. You know what I mean? So if you're for a Confederate month, the Confederates lost. You're for a loser month. So you're for, what you're saying is you're for slavery. It's just that simple. You know what I'm saying?
I still got family in the SIP. Again, that's That's me. That's my Ritz.
Yeah, that's crazy.
As they say, I know my roots and culture. You know
Yes,
what
sir.
I mean? I know that, man. My aunts and cousins are still down in the SIP, man. When you hear that bullshit, Dom, what comes to mind, yo?
I mean, it's wild because Mississippi obviously had the most lynchings of any state historically. Every time I drive through, I told you when I drive through the South, and I do a lot of driving out here in New Orleans, Charlotte, whatever. But whenever I see a county and I drive it and I'm not driving, I always Google lynchings in that particular county.
Oh.
So, yeah, every time, literally every
sundown
you said
city,
what?
sundown
Yeah,
town.
because you have to know where you are. You have to, especially down here, you really have to know where you are. So the history of Mississippi is extremely brutal, but it goes back to, like Fro said, it goes back to voting. Now, even though Mississippi is majority black, what they do is they have these archaic policies and these harsh prison sentences, and they don't have restoration of rights. So once you're a felon in Mississippi or you're a felon in Alabama, guess what happens? You're done.
Yeah.
You basically can't vote anymore. You know what I mean? And because of the economies of those areas are so poor, you're going to find people who been persistently crossed that line in order to survive or to do what they need to do, quote unquote. Not giving them any excuses, but historically and institutionally in Mississippi, I'm sure it's a lot harder than it is other places. So to see that they can have a state with a majority black population, but minority representation, and for things to go on like this is really something that we need to work on. We need to work on at the local level. They need to see, like Georgia, for instance, has restoration of rights. Like in Georgia, if you're a felon, you can get after your probation and you haven't been convicted of anything and you've done your time, basically, as long as it's not murder or armed robbery, you can get a weapons permit, you can vote again. Say if Georgia is willing to do that, and that's because we have historically had a lower prison population than the other states. So we were able to effectuate that into our constitution and make us a more powerful voting bloc. Shouts out to Mississippi. Hope they can do some changes on the legislative scale, but that's a tough one. Mississippi is tough, bro. That's a tough one.
That's when I saw that, man, I was like, man, what the fuck, yo? It was like you said, what we doing? We celebrating losers, you know what I mean?
Losers.
Kids got to learn about lynchings and different things of that nature because it wasn't nothing good about the Confederacy. And for the black kids to be subjected in the state of Mississippi for that month of April, ain't they gonna be over the top with they shit? Had the motherfucking rebel flags flying in their backyard. Ain't no telling or how bad it might get. Hopefully nobody fucks around and gets rolled up on some bullshit with these hillbillies, because we all know what time it is, man. But I just wanted to, like I said, when I saw that, man, I was like, yo, I got to bring this to the soup, man, because this is some bullshit, and that's the reason why, man, you got to go out there and vote, and you got to vote for your means, man. You can't just vote for somebody because you got to vote for what's right with you and what's going on in your particular situations. You know what I mean? Now, man, I know we normally cook up MCs for saying some bullshit and different things, or rappers. I'm gonna call them rappers when they say some bullshit on the political side. But man, it's a guy that frequently shows up on my TL, and he's a positive brother, man, and he always has a good message with him, man. And it's that brother Plies, man, from down in the dirt, man. So what I want to do is this, man. Plies has some stuff to say about an old Agent Orange, man. I want to share that with y'all, man, and we're gonna do what we do.
My question for America: how did we get here? How did we get here? That you got somebody on trial right now in a courtroom who's a nominee for the president of the United States and 7 months. How did we get him? Just wipe that out the way. How can you, in this country, be married and divorced 3 times and become president of the United States? How can you be in the highest office of the land and then file for bankruptcy 6-7 times between you and your company? How did we get here? O.J. Simpson just died a couple days ago. R.I.P. to everybody, him, the family, everybody involved. And the day that he died, I seen on the news, online, and in public, they say, I don't give a damn what that jury said. He did it. He did it. 12 people on the jury. said he didn't do it. The majority of this country said, I wouldn't give a damn. The evidence said he did it. He did it. Yours is different, but they said evidence. But you got a guy over him. You got him on the line. Why? In Georgia, 10,000 votes. You see the classified documents in Mar-a-Lago. The feds said they got the surveillance of him moving.
That's what I'm saying. Come on,
trying to hide him, destroying evidence. Wouldn't get the documents back. The insurrection, we see it with our own. We see it on TV. The hush money payment, 9 signed checks by him. Money back to Michael Cohen. Fraud case, $400-some million they found him liable for. Everybody around him done been in prison or indicted or in jail.
Exactly.
Man, to Michael Flynn, to Rick Gates, to Peter Navarre, to Alan Weisenberg, to Rudy Giuliani's law. Everybody around him. Did we get here? Impeached twice. 80-some felony charges. How did we get here?
Excellent question. How do we get here? I mean, you take what Mark Cuban was cooking, and you take what Plies was just barbecuing, and you put them together, and you serve that to Screaming A, and he gives you, they don't have anything to run on. The charges are bogus charges. Plies, John.
It's so I like Plies because he gives a good, quick, honest opinion, not over the top street, not over the top something that he's not. I like the way he just puts it down in plain English. And I do stand corrected. DU was right earlier because the Fulton County judge dropped 3 charges against Trump, so it is 88. Yeah, they dropped 3, so I stand corrected. But
that's a big difference. Oh shit.
yeah, those 3 charges can mean the difference between everything.
Yeah.
No, but but it was like I said earlier, Barack Obama had to be the perfect black man to be president. And we talk about the things that Trump is doing right now. The list is just so long. Like I said, it just really just bugs me out. That's, somebody can, like, we've lived through presidential scandals. We lived through Gary Hart. We lived through Ted Kennedy. So we know what happens. You know what I'm saying? When boys back in the day used to, something would damage their image or their reputation, they would tap out. This dude, he just keeps going harder. You know what? So what? I paid off a porn star. I grab him by the pussy. And I'm not trying to be explicit, but that's what the man said. You know what I'm saying? Lock him up, put him in cages. So on. He put kids in cages. Family said, man, this dude is off the chain wild. And they just don't, for some reason, I just don't understand why people don't see it, man. I really don't understand. Like I say, this is city rat in the country mouse, man. It's crazy.
Trump is the guy who robs the dope man bareface. You know what I mean? Up into the gate
in daylight on 5th Avenue.
No mask, no nothing. He just just go in there. Yeah, it's me. I need it all right now. You know what I mean? This guy is the ultimate gangster. Miss me with Gotti. Miss me with Al Capone. Miss me with the Lucchese family. Donald Trump is the biggest gangster ever.
Yeah, I agree.
This man just went into the White House and immediately started gangstering shit. You know what I mean? It's incredible. P, how did we get here?
Man, Plies, man, he put it out there, man. And all the sexy reds and all the academics and the Stephen A's out there, man, listen to Plies, man. You know what I'm saying? Plies put it out there in his own way, in his unique way. We know how Plies get down. He probably was in his car. He had an epiphany, like, what is going on? How the fuck did we get here? And Don said Obama had to be the perfect black man. Couldn't even wear a tan suit, B.
Real shit.
Can't even wear a tan suit, but this man is in court, farting and falling asleep. And this is who you guys want for president.
Yo, they said the man passed gas, and the lawyers was upset about it because it was humming like that. They like this nigga was farting avocados and coffee.
Coming out orange. It was an orange hue in the air. You know what I'm saying? In court.
He just in there just letting them rip. You know what I'm saying?
Because,
Just a fucking Viking.
He is.
KFC and McDonald's will do that to you, boy.
Man.
You know what I'm saying? But man, shout out to Plies, man, for running it down. Like I said, man, Plies comes across my TL, man, and he usually generally saying some positive stuff, something that's going to either uplift you or something that's going to make you think. You know what I mean? So yeah. Also, man, I came across my timeline, man, with some bullshit this week, man. What I'm going to do is I'm going to share it, and then we're going to go ahead and do what we do.
Here behind me is where a scam call turned deadly, and I'm going to step out of the way here so you can get a look here. The man who lives here is accused of shooting and killing an Uber driver. He now faces a murder charge and potential other charges. According to reports, authorities say William Brock had been receiving multiple threatening scam calls the morning of March 25th. The calls were concerning an incarcerated relative, and Brock was told to meet at the courthouse to pay a ransom of $12,000 in bail money, or they would kill him and his relative. Around the same time of the call, Lolitha Hall received directions from the same person or an accomplice, instructing her to go to Brock's home to pick up a package for delivery. Dashcam video from Hall's car shows her arrive to Brock's home to pick up that package. According to reports from the Clark County Sheriff's Office, Brock allegedly had a gun. This video appears to confirm that. The incident report says Brock allegedly took Hall's phone and wouldn't let her leave, and when she tried to go, authorities say Brock then shot Hall. They started fighting, and he shot her 2 more times. Authorities received a call from Brock saying he had shot someone on his property because they were trying to rob him. When units arrived, they found Hall with multiple gunshot wounds, and Brock was bleeding from his head. Hall was flown to Kettering Hospital in Dayton, where she died. Reports say while officials were on scene, Brock's landline phone kept ringing, and when one officer picked it up, the man on the other line said he was an officer. And the real officer explained what happened and asked the caller to meet. And he agreed, but never showed up. We reached out to Uber, and they responded with this statement saying in part, quote, "There is no other way to describe this incident than a horrific tragedy. Our hearts continue to be with Lolitha's loved ones as they grieve her sudden loss. We have been in contact with law enforcement and remain committed to supporting their investigation." End quote. Uber also went on to say the account.
Oh yeah, man. I don't know if you guys had heard about that story or not, but feel bad for that lady and her family, man. She's just trying to do a job, and whoever was on the other end was obviously on some BS, and hopefully they will be able to track that person's account or somehow find out who that was who sent her to that man's house. But Pete, when you saw that, Pete, what goes through?
What makes me think about how sensationalism can make older people feel like everyone that's black or a minority is their enemy. You know what I'm saying? Who knows what this guy watches on his TV all day? He could be watching Fox all day and feel like that we're his enemy. You know what I mean? Just to see a black person and his presence on his property would make him feel like he has the right to kill or shoot them. Whoever was on the other line to set this up needs to, man, come on, man. They need to find them and put them under the jail. You know what I'm saying? Also. But he felt like he was defending himself because in his mind, we're evil, which is horrible. So the root of it, to me, is the sensationalism and the brainwashing of white people to think that we're just dangerous. This is a lady. It looked like she could have been in her late 40s, early 50s. She's just working.
Same age as him, damn near.
Yeah, we just working. She out there working, delivering a package, and you kill her? It's just horrible, man. And it's just the state. Now, people say we've come so far and blase splee, but what we have now is technology and information to show us that we haven't come that far. Obviously, if you're shooting somebody because of what they look like, come on, man. This is ridiculous.
You saw she comes, she gets out of her vehicle, she goes to the door, she's backpedaling, The guy has got the burner out. He's got the hammer cocked at the same time. So I'm sure she was terrified for somebody to come to the door with the hammer on them. That's the last thing that you're thinking. You're trying to go pick up a package, and then somebody answers the door with the hammer. Go in, you.
I think that this is really tricky. Obviously, rest in peace to the lady, and because like you said, she was just doing her job. However, on the other side of the situation, the older white guy was basically told that somebody from that whole conspiracy, allegedly, he was told that somebody from that whole conspiracy setup that they were running, or that conspiracy scam they were running, was going to be part of it. Now, nothing really justifies what he did. However, I do see how they're spinning it. And that's what we have to be aware of. We have to be aware of how it's spun. And my thing is that obviously you can't bring people back, at least not yet from what we know. But how is Uber going to compensate that lady? And how is that going to affect their policies as far as their delivery? Because she would not have been put in that situation unless she was actually doing her job. So something about that job needs to be modified. And once again, rest in peace, and hopefully her family honestly gets the feeling of justice when this is over with.
It's no doubt, man. Like I said, when I came across my TL, I was like, man, we definitely need to chop it up and add that to the soup. Again, Don, I agree with you totally. Rest in peace to the woman who was unfortunately killed for basically doing her job, man. And we're going to continue on. 2 more things before we take this pot of soup off the stove, man. And seeing as though that this is tax month, right? It's tax season, right? And taxes is always a funny thing. People throwing moves, people asking you, can they claim your son, or can they claim your daughter? People doing moves to get the earned income credit so they can get that $8,500, $10,000 earned income credit. You know what I'm saying? So this actually came across my timeline too out there in ATL, man. The IRS was like, listen, come see me. So let's see what they're talking about.
Turned away after waiting hours for tax help. There was a line in front of Atlanta's Tax Assistance Center today as they held extended hours ahead of Monday's tax deadline. And our Atlanta News First reporter, Brittany Ford, spoke with people in that line who blame this all on a lack of organization.
This was the line in front of the IRS Tax Assistance Center Saturday. People wrapped in blankets in lawn chairs as early as 6 a.m. ahead of the 9 a.m. opening.
The line is around 2 corners, 3 corners. This 1, 4 corners. It's 4 corners long.
The IRS held the extended hours Saturday ahead of Monday's tax deadline. No appointment needed. People were able to get one-on-one help from an IRS representative. But Atlanta News First learned many of them didn't come by choice.
All I need to do is verify my identity, and that's it. It's a tiny process, but still in all, to wait this long.
Almost everyone we spoke to had already filed their taxes, but received an email or letter in the mail similar to this, stating they needed to come in person to verify their identity before their refund could be released.
Kept calling the phone numbers. It's such a hassle just to get through the phone numbers and get information about what's going on and what you need to do. I finally got the phone number, said I could verify over the phone. Try to verify over the phone. No, you have to come in person.
Frustrated and fed up.
The last day to file your taxes is April 15th. It's Monday, right? But guess what? We still gonna have to verify after Monday.
Dozens of people in line had no other choice but to wait.
Yes, I want my money. I work for this money. It's my money and I want it now. Hopefully it's over soon and everybody get their money because it's time to get paid.
In downtown Atlanta, Brittany Ford, Atlanta News First.
Were you aware of what was going down there?
Yeah, I definitely was. It's wild because down here, where like Atlanta, they say you have to have 3 things. You have to have a job, a side hustle, and a scam. There's a lot of scammers down here in Atlanta. I can see why basically the feds would put Atlanta under a spotlight as far as that's concerned. Yeah, I'm not tripping off of it. I just think it's a minor inconvenience. Some people, they want to make sure, the feds want to make sure that they get it right when it comes to your taxes because they want all their money and they don't want to have to deal with a bunch of BS saying that they slipped in any way, shape, or form. I understand it. Being in this environment, I totally understand it. Trust that.
They trying to cut it short on claiming baby kids, huh, man?
And listen, and real quick before we talk about that, people talk about voting for Trump, but Trump cut down the earned income credit for families. So come on.
Say that again. The people in the back.
Yeah, Trump cut down earned income credit for families. Them girls that was getting that $3,500 like they used to from Barack and all them boys, they wasn't getting that during, you know what I'm saying? They're not getting that after the Trump Tax Act. It's different now. You know what I'm saying? They act. I don't get it, man. But my fault, yo. My fault.
Yo, one question, fam. Is this legal after you've already filed?
Yeah.
Oh.
It is.
Okay.
They make their own rules and they play by their own rules. Was you aware of this, Lord? What was going down and it's coming.
This is the first time I've ever seen anything like this. So explain this to me like I'm in third grade. You file, and then later on they want you to identify yourself. Don't
They want you to
identify yourself when you file.
No, they want you to they want you to bring proof that's actually you. Okay, for example, right? For example, me being an ex-debt seller or a debt seller, I probably have 500,000 social security numbers, right? Literally. You know what I'm saying? So if I was a different type of person, right? If a person with no integrity and didn't understand what the fuck is going on, you know, I could do all kinds of different shit with that, right? You know what I'm saying? So Atlanta is a hub for that. It's a hub for people who are taking advantage of identities and things like that. So, like I said, I understand it. I don't have a problem with it because it's rampant down here, and I work in that industry where I catch fraud every day.
So, go ahead and run it down. What your occupation has to be in Atlanta again, Don?
That was wild.
You have to have three things. This is what they say in Atlanta. You have to have three things. You have to have a job, a hustle, and a scam. That's what that's what they say in Atlanta. Because like most places be like, oh, you know, you got to have a job and a hustle. No, Atlanta, that's what that's what people are saying who aren't established.
Is there a particular order it goes in, or is it just?
I think it was the right order, fam.
I think that is about the right order because usually you meet somebody who, you know what I'm saying, you meet somebody at the job who sell bud, you know what I'm saying, who can get you hooked up with something, you know what I'm saying? That's just the boom boom, it's just really that flow. Like you meet somebody, okay, you need some bud or you need this, you need that. Okay, I got this, that, and the other, and I can also hook you up with this, you know what I'm saying? And a lot of times we may not realize, even though we're looking at as far as camaraderie or somebody being friendly, but a hookup oftentimes is illegal.
Right.
Depending on what you're getting hooked up for. So you have to keep that in mind, man.
No doubt about it. That's word. That's a word from my man UH, the Atlanta resident. So if anybody is in the know, he gonna know. So as we put the finishing touches, let me cut down this soup a little bit, man. Turn it down and let it simmer a little bit before we pull it off the burners and whatnot. So man, Uncle Russell Simmons has some things to say. And it jumped off, Dom, from something that you talked about in the rundown, which was the battle that's going on right now in the industry between all these artists. And we're going to build on to that off of what Uncle Rush has to say. So let's listen to what Russell has to say really quick. And then we're going to take this soup off the stove here.
This morning I woke up and the first thing I saw was the Rick Ross response to the beef, and then I finally played back the beef, and I'm like, oh, okay, I'm up to date. But then I was looking for the Iranian strike on Israel. I couldn't find it. It came up. Eventually I understood what happened with the Iranian strike on Israel and whether it really sparked.
Now, since then, they done bombed on Lebanon.
They bombed on Lebanon too?
Today.
Wow.
They bombed on them. So definitely, man, Israel is trying to take us into the World 3, and we're going to build on that in an episode or two coming up next.
A regional or world dispute. So I got that, and that was important since it could spark a world war, and it should be in the top of the news. But still, the most important thing in the news is the beef. I was saying that I walked Biggie to his car the day he was killed. And that experience was, I got home, then I got a phone call from Mike Concepcion. I was in LA, we went to that party that you've all read about. I walked him to his car. The only time I ever really hung out with him, And I walked into his car, I went home, and Mike Concepcion called me and told me he had been killed. The next day, we had a meeting at Mr. Farrakhan's house. Not the next day. Next day, I called and we set up a meeting, and we had a meeting where East and West came together at Mr. Farrakhan's house, and that kind of stopped the war. It's all documented, but it was a big deal because people were dying, right? And Biggie and Tupac were dead, and rap beef escalated to that. A lot of other people died too. They're just not as famous. So here we are today, and there's rap beef, and it's the biggest thing in the news. But I want to just say how powerful they are, the rappers. They're so powerful that they came together and they said we wanted equal high quality education. The American government would figure out a way to do it. They all went to Trump tomorrow and said, we want you to figure out how to pay for equal high quality education for every American. It would be part of his campaign, and we could probably push him to do it. The same for sure with Joe Biden. He's more likely to try. It would be as big as AIPAC. I don't know. We could push him to do something so meaningful about healthcare, about education, about all of the things that matter to.
Now, he said Trump would make it a part of his platform, right? But he said Biden would likely try to get it through.
Do it. Yeah, actually do it. Yeah.
Black people, just rappers alone could spark the dialogue big enough and create a dialogue big enough and a demand big enough that our American government would deliver for us equal high quality education or health care that's equivalent to the health care of every other developed country in this world. But instead we are beefing. I'm all for entertainment, but it's not their fault that they're bigger than our congressmen, that they're more important than our senators, and that their words carry more weight than our leadership. I remember Malcolm X said that it was a shame that we lived in a world where entertainers and only Black people had entertainers as leaders. I was designed to be such a, so.
Now that's a misquote there. Because we played it earlier on our episode when he said, when you want something out, you know, that you go to Dick Gregory, you go to Lena Horne, and he said that ain't what you want. He was like, no other groups are going to entertainers for them to speak for them.
When Farrakhan put those entertainers in a room, when I had that summit and all of the rappers came, every New York City candidate for mayor came. The head of the NAACP, Kwame and Fume, the head of the Urban League, all of the councilmen and who were interested in that group, supporting them, they all showed up. And he told them they weren't gangsters, but that the government, in fact, was gangster, and they should curb their words. And a lot of them really took that to heart and did something. And we did do things. Again, we changed the Rockefeller drug laws. We got thousands of people out of jail. We got hundreds of millions of dollars put in the education budget. We did something. The Hip Hop Summit was successful, not in the way we would hope, but certainly today, where is the communication amongst rappers that has to do with lifting our people? Not their job. They didn't ask for this power. They asked for power over people to buy their records and power over people to love them as music artists and poets. But unfortunately, we need them to say something else together. It would spark a revolution. And I just wanted to get that out. I said it and I erased it on this tape, but I'm saying it again. I said I walked Biggie to his car and I felt that night his death. I felt I must have been involved in saving the lives of God knows how many rappers. I solved so many rap beefs behind the scenes. I saw that. It was not nearly as big, the beefs. Even though they were in the cover of Vibe magazine, they weren't as traveled as we are today with so.
Yeah, this brings us obviously full circle back to voting, culture, and the music. Now we're gonna end with. So, what did you think about what Russell had to say, P?
I think what he was saying is, even though you have a platform and you have a voice, even though it's not your responsibility to use your voice to bring people together, he's had in his experience where he's seen death in hip hop. When, like you said, he walked Biggie to his car. You can still have battles on wax or whatever now it is. I don't know, on the internet or blase split. But just make sure it stays that way. You know what I mean? Let's not be out here killing each other over rap beef. And if you have a platform, you got billions of people, millions of people listening to you. I said, man, if you see something, say something, man. You know what I mean? You got a responsibility. It's not really your responsibility, but take the responsibility. So that way we can at least try to come together. It's not all about, I know capitalism is the economic structure here, but use it to uplift, not to take advantage of people, man. Do what you can to bring us together. And I think Russ is just in a state of mind right now when he realizes that, and he's just trying to convey it to everybody else. I respect it.
So before I come to you, just listening to Russ and some of the things he said, obviously a lot of the things he said was true about the entertainers having a voice and having more impact than your Hakeem Jeffries, your congressman, and that's true. I think he failed to steward hip hop, the culture.
Good point.
Because he was one of the stewards to take it into the direction that it went to. The misogyny, the womanizing, and all of that. Obviously, that's as American as apple pie. And unfortunately, and he obviously, I'm not going to say obviously, allegedly got caught up in all of that, womanizing and misogyny and all of that type of stuff. But what I was saying is when he had the hip hop summit or whatever, what happened to it, Russ? Why did it fall off? How did it fall off? Did you not steward the right people to actually
continue it
while you were being the mogul that you are? I just think it fell hollow for him to, I'm not going to say hollow, but I'm going to say irresponsible, because he is directly responsible for the way the game is right now, because he oversaw it from the beginning to where it started going to being the multi-billion-dollar company or industry that it is now. When you listen to Russ come off like he did, what sparks you?
Like I said, I dig Rush, but I think that you made a point that I really never thought about before, is that as far as the stewardship is concerned, Russ is definitely one of the biggest people in the evolution of hip hop. To take Def Jam to where it is, and the artists and the impact and his artist management with his brother, with Run DMC.
Not to cut you, but it was our Motown.
Oh, no doubt.
Our Motown.
No doubt. And so for Russ to be such a big figure, it's always good to hear him say hear him give his opinion on how things are now. That being said, obviously he's part of that culture that, fortunately or unfortunately, depending on how you look at it, men of our age group are, right? Because we grew up when it wasn't a Me Too movement. We grew up when everybody wasn't like feminism or blah, blah, blah. We was like, either you a pimp, you a player, or you married. You know what I'm saying? It was like that. And obviously we never did anything that was bad, but we've done things that are unacceptable in today's time. You know what I'm saying? He has to, obviously he was part of that, and so was Puff. And like we say, we're men of a different age, so we look at things differently. However, learning those lessons and seeing the things that became of the way that we acted, I think that he has the right idea as far as continuing to push the culture forward as far as unity and influence. But the problem is that he's not willing. He hasn't been able to step in and say, hey, this is what you do. You know what I mean? This is how you do it. And this is what it is. More, he's like sitting back and looking at his creation, to say the least. And I think that he needs to be more actively involved. If that's what he wants to see, if he wants to see us being more of a community-based industry, that being more of a community-based industry like it was before, he needs to be actively involved and show people how to do it.
Right.
And it's hard when you're in Bali.
That's what I'm saying. Is he available?
Right.
No,
you don't have to use a platform like we're using it.
Yeah.
And we all are skeptical. Yo, what's the deal with being on Fantasy Island? Obviously, if you want to leave the United States and live somewhere else, that's your business. You happen to be somewhere where the extradition is not allegedly with the United States. Who knows where he is? Or Bruce Wayne, undisclosed area, some damn where. I got a lot of love for Russ because again, he was an innovator. You know what I'm saying?
Mhm.
He is a pillar in the culture, and that's the reason why last year with the 50th anniversary, with him not being as present and as seen as much as he should, again, that was another eyebrow. I'm like, man, this is too much of a monumental occasion for you not to be hands-on. His presence was missing during that 50th celebration because he could have basically told his story about his, in now 50 years, he could have told his story of how he came to be Def Jam, how he became to be the mogul that he is. But as he started out, man, he was talking about that battle, man. And that battle has sprung a whole lot of branches. You know what I'm saying? It's like you got Chris Brown, now we got R&B singers, quasi rapping and shooting shots at cats. What's your take on this allegedly industry beef, John?
It's wild because I told y'all Drake was gonna come for them boys. I told y'all I told y'all I was taking Drake. We when the spring first popped off, he's like, "Who you take?" I'm taking Drake, and we was only questioning whether he was actually gonna be the one writing the shit. You know what I'm saying? So, but as you can tell with Drop and Give Him 50, I don't know if that was just him on a solo pen or he had a couple of assists or whatever. But Drop and Give Him 50 is heat. Let
me just say this:
heat.
If you found out that somebody was writing all of my opinions and giving them to me, and I was just spouting what he gave me on this piece of paper, would you respect that?
I would respect your delivery, but I would question your intentions.
Okay, good answer. Good answer.
That's a reload answer right there.
You know what I'm saying?
Good answer.
Great answer, man.
I really would, man, but this boy spent some fire. So like I was saying this morning, I was coming home, man, from a long trip, and I heard the Drop and Give Him 50, and I'm like, oh, I was genuinely shocked. I'm like, okay, Drake put it down the way I was supposed to. So I'm turning the Grady curve, and then I hear Kanye and Future. I'm like, whoa, Kanye has entered the chat now too. So it's interesting, man. I think it's good for the culture because I was actually doing some research yesterday, and I noticed that hip hop hasn't had the great year that it usually has. We've been dominant over the music scene for the past 25 years. I think this is the first year that we haven't really had the numbers that we've had. So it's good to see the major artists jumping in and giving us some new creativity and giving us the essence of hip hop, which is competition and conflict. I love that. And then we know it's not going to go any further than it actually is because these boys are stupid wealthy. But like Russell said, they can use this attention that's on them to bring us together and do something more communal. That I would like to see that as well, outside of music. But it is some great music being created right now, and I love it.
It would be helpful because we got plenty of enemies at the gate, man. You know what I'm saying? And as they keep bashing that gate, man, it's going to start to give it, and we got to keep it and refortify it. You know what I mean? P, what's your thoughts on the industry beef for battle, and what have you heard so far?
Man, I'm a man of a certain age. I can't keep up with all this, man. Yo, I heard Kanye today.
Yeah.
But I didn't get all of it. But I heard Chris Brown, man. Yo, Chris Brown.
Was he rhyming or was he singing or both?
Listen, man, let me tell you something about this dude, man. He an alien or something, man. This man can sing, he can dance, he got a ill crossover, he can shoot the three. The man, I think he wrote this rap because it was personal to him. And it's straight fire. So I suggest you guys listen to this, man. Because it's just crazy. I remember Busta Rhymes saying he heard Chris Brown in a different studio doing something, and Busta was like, let me show you how to do the speed rap thing. That's where that song came from, that Look At Me Now joint.
Yeah, Look At Me Now.
Yeah, but
he actually rhyming, huh?
Man, he's fire, B. Like
going at my man Quavo.
Yeah, he let him have it, man. I was telling Don earlier, I'm like, the only thing Quavo could do now is call Chris Brown mom and say, yo, I'm being bullied by your son, man.
Oh,
that's how, man, he went at him. But it's giving people an opportunity to bring hip hop back to the essence. Like when I heard Kanye, I'm like, this is the Kanye.
This is the Kanye. Yeah, he was Kanye.
You know what I'm saying? The other I don't, the red hat Kanye, I don't get that. I don't understand that. But that Kanye, I'm like, whoa, this is fire too. I didn't hear the Rick Ross joint though. I'm just saying I'm off.
Like, sorry to cut you. That's like the only one I heard. The 7-minute drill. We heard the 7-minute drill joint. As I said, it was milk toast. The Rick Ross joint. That's really the only one that those are the two that I heard. And but I'm definitely going to do some research and try to listen to all of those joints today, so I can give you a review. Before we go, man, I want to show y'all one thing, since y'all talking about Kanye.
I ordered a shirt, the cut-off shirt with the jogging pants that come. I ordered a two, I think that's needed. Hold on, I know you know. Look at it say two. What, man, that bitch look like a quilt. This bitch ain't got no shit. Where the arms go in, brother? It look like a square. Oh my god.
Let's see what the pants is for, bro.
Pants gotta be. Let me see what the pants.
Hell no.
I could knock birds out the fucking sky.
Oh, what is this?
Oh no, son. I gotta hold
the potato sack race pants on this.
For real, like
potato sack race.
Son, look at this, dog. Look at this, dog. Look at the whole ensemble. Look at this motherfucker.
Give him a 360 or something, dog.
Damn, dog. Kanye, come on. Son. He'll look like the little scrunchie you put in your little baby head. What you got on the back of that dude?
A one, dog.
This is not the one. I'm trying to swag and lip nothing with these.
But it's Yeezy though, but I know you're gonna be popping out with this here on.
Heavens no, but I'm not putting this on in nowhere. You can fit this bitch in. You 200 pounds more than. Matter of fact, bitch, you try it on. Let me see the camera. You try it on. Man, I'm fucking jet. That's how it's supposed to fit me, bro. Man, come on, face down to fit this bitch. Damn, son, that nigga. Ain't no way this bitch fit him. That's my size, Yeezy. Man, come on, do better, bro.
Come on, man. I'm losing weight, man.
Calm down, bro. Fuck, man. I gotta, man. What?
So yeah, man. This is you paying $300, probably on the low end for that. Yeezy wear.
Sometimes you could be too smart for your own good. I don't know. He thinking. Some people think outside the box. He didn't hop into another box being outside the box. I just. What does he call it? The Big Worm 1? I don't know. What is the name of the gear?
Yo, B. What's stopping the bootlegger from getting biz? What's stopping the bootlegger from getting biz if that's what you're getting?
No words.
I have no words. Like I said, everybody stay in your lane. Stay in your lane. I wasn't a fan of sneakers, but he switched from the hip hop, which he was in the slow lane with the hip hop, switched over to the sneaker lane. You know what I'm saying? That's cool. You know what I mean? The politics, he should have never hopped in the politics lane, and he did. Both just stick to rapping, Kanye. Just stick to rapping. Keep your mouth closed unless you want a mic. That's all I gotta say. Don't open your mouth to design on clothes. Don't open your mouth to suggest no shoes. Just keep your mouth closed, dog.
So you know what Kanye gonna say, right? It ain't though. It ain't Ralph. It ain't Ralph though. You know what I'm saying? How Sway?
You ain't got the answers, Sway. You ain't got the answers.
Man, come on, man. I play my hard-earned money. I wait 4 weeks to get that package, and I'll bust that package open, and this is what you give me?
And he gives me this with a 1 on the back.
What's the 1 for?
You one fool of many.
One idiot that purchased this.
What is wrong with this? Come on, man. We don't need this. We don't need this, bro.
Man. Kanye.
If it gotta be, it gotta be. It gotta be.
Man, I ain't mad at you. If people are buying it, people are buying that stuff for high dollar amounts.
Get your money.
All right. I cannot be mad at you, man. But as I take this pot off the ire here, man, off the stove, man, February. April 15th, man, was a pivotal day in hip hop. It was the 30th anniversary of Illmatic. I can remember getting my ears on Illmatic. So let me take y'all back to 1994, April. So it had to be it had to be maybe April 12th, maybe when I got there. So I fly again, Don. I'm going to Atlanta. And guess what was going on in Atlanta? The Freaknik. I'm going to Atlanta for the Freak. Cousin Bruce picks me up from the airport.
Shout out to Cousin Bruce, man.
No doubt. Bruce.
Cousin Bruce, Biggie Smalls. So we riding. He riding the Pathfinder. He puts the tape in. He got the bootleg of Illmatic. It's like he probably got 4 or 5 joints of Illmatic on a motherfucking bootleg. So I'm like, oh shit. So we listening to that. Make a long story short, the album dropped during the Freaknik. And when it dropped, everybody was banging that joint. You know what I'm saying? Every was going by was Yo Blackest Time. You could hear that. You know what I'm saying? They could hear the One Love going. You know what I mean? I will forever salute Nas, Extra P, LES, Q-Tip,
Pete
Rock, and Primo for the beat knock on Illmatic. P, when Illmatic dropped, what was your thoughts?
I was in class, in school at the time. Shout out to my man Oba Ade. He had it in his
old Black.
He was like, "Yo, I got some heat for you." I was driving the Chevy Corsica at the time with the thump in it, with a little thump in it.
The Corsi, huh?
Yeah. He was like, "Yo, fuck this class. I got something for you." You know what I mean? So we went out to the car, and I'm like, "What's this?" He was like, "Yo, this cat only 17 years old, B." I'm like, "Word?" He put the joint in, and all I heard was the train tracks. I'm like, "Yo, what is this? Beach Street, nigga?" You know what I'm saying?
Word.
And he came on. I was like, "Yo," I just sat back and we listened to the whole. I had to pull the joint out and flip it around back then. The whole tape back then. I'm like, "Yo, who is this dude and why is he so nice like that?" You know what I mean? And ever since then, I've been a Nas cat. My daughter, she even got me a vinyl copy for my birthday of Illmatic. You know what I'm saying?
Shout out to Madison.
Shout out to Madison for the gift, man. I've been a Nas dude ever since, man. You know what I mean?
I knew he was talking to me when he said, "When I dress is never nothing less than guess." You know what I'm saying? Illmatic.
Love it. Obviously, Live at the Barbecue had us all salivating for the joint.
Waiting for it, right?
Yeah. Live at the Barbecue. That was when me and Chris Norman was doing it real heavy back then. Shouts out to Chris Norman. 94 Chris Norman. You know what I'm saying? Shouts out to him. But yeah, man, that joint was classic, man. We spent a lot of time listening to that, driving around the city, blowing it down, and it's classic from beginning to end. The Q-Tip joint, even though I'm not a big thing on the whole jail shit, you know what I'm saying? But that Q-Tip joint was crazy. The One Love joint, it's just full of classics and it's just full of originality. Thoughts just take you so deep. So shouts out to Nas in 30 years of that, because that's a classic. That's 5 mics.
Shout out to AZ too. We was introduced to AZ on the joint.
Yeah, we were. Yeah.
It's definitely a hip hop classic. If a Martian was to come down to the planet Earth and to ask you to give them something that's going to symbolize what you went through during that time period, you definitely would hand him the Illmatic joint and tell him to go ahead and turn it up. Turn it up, yo. Turn it up. Cormega posted a picture of a letter that Nas wrote to him. You know what I mean? And he didn't post the entire letter. You know what I mean? He just posted the sign off. And he said that's how they said peace. They said peace and one love.
One love, yes, sir.
And the brothers took it from one love and then just took it to one. Man, I thought that was monumental this week. That happened 30 years of Illmatic. Shout to the God Nas, who I think is the greatest of them all. And also, man, him and Premier dropped a new album. Did y'all hear? Not an album, but a single. Did y'all hear that joint? And what did you think of it?
No, I didn't get my ears on it yet. I'll get my ears on it after this. No problem. I'm sure it's classic. I'm sure it's classic material. I'm never worried about anything from Nas or Premier. Yeah, I know to expect excellence.
It's definitely legitimate. Classic.
I didn't get it yet, bro. I have to get it tonight.
I sent it to you. It's on your TL. Look on your TL. It's there. And this is the latest episode of The Soup, man. And we're going to go ahead and finish this off, man. Before I hand it over to my mans and them so they can say their parting words, man. Last week, man, I'll be remiss if I didn't say we lost a legend in the game, in the hip hop game with DJ Mr. C, man. He passed away. You know what I mean? So I want to send a shout out and a rest in peace, Mr. C. And I also want to say send out a rest in peace to my cousin, my first cousin, Brenda. She passed away
peace
days ago of cancer. Brenda Beverly, we love you.
Rest in peace.
Thinking about you, praying for you. And I'm going to go ahead, man, and I'm going to turn it over to you, UH, so you can say your salutations and goodbyes.
I just really want to say, man, I am looking forward to something new. And you hear about people talking about change. They want to change all the time. But honestly, the change starts with you. And believe me, anybody who's lived the type of lifestyle that I've lived for a very long time would probably love it. But at some point in time, you get tired and you want something different. So I'm just looking to be on a little bit, use some discipline, some prayer, and some desire to change myself. So that's what I'm on for the next 6 months until this year, until the election. Actually, I want to make sure I'm prepared for whatever happens for that time between the election and inauguration. So I have to do different things. So that's what I'm on, and y'all can watch the change happen.
Nice.
That's peace right there, and I'm right there with you, man. I'm trying to make those changes as well. You know what I mean? Lord, you know what the people want, man. So give it to them.
For the nieces and nephews out there, for men of a certain age, listen. If you don't work to build the dream life that you want, someone else will hire you to build theirs. That's for men of a certain age, man.
For the people in the back, once again.
If you don't work to build the dream life that you want, someone else will hire you to build theirs. You know what I mean? That's from Uncle P.
Real shit.
Men of a certain age, short and sweet, baby.
And again, this was the latest and the greatest episode. We appreciate y'all for tuning in. Please share, subscribe, and comment down low. For me, Les, for Don, for Pete, it's the soup. It's the same old soup, and we just reheating it. Until next time, peace.
Later, y'all.
Peace. Okay, fellas.
Later.